Hi everyone, my name is Mandy Johnson and I'm doing my presentation on digital citizenship, the safe, legal, and responsible use of technology. Digital citizenship, why we need it. Technology is constantly changing and evolving. With that comes the demand for us to better understand and teach others, like our students, on how to use this technology in a safe, legal, and responsible way. Now that we have answered why we need digital citizenship, what is it? Basically, everyone who resides in this new digital world needs to follow a set of rules, the same set of rules. And if we follow these rules, it makes us a good citizen. And if all of us are good citizens, then it creates this safe community for us all to reside in. Now, let's talk about these rules that I mentioned earlier. There are three basic rules: internet safety, legal use of information that we find on the internet and what we choose to do with it and how we use it, ethical and responsible use of the internet. First, let's talk about safety. For us as educators, it's important for us to teach our students on how to be safe on the internet. There are many dangers out there that we must educate them on. First, like which sites are approved and not approved. We must also monitor our younger students on a regular basis. We also need to let our older students know that even though they have more personal space with the internet, they too will be monitored, and there are also sites that are approved and not approved for them. And we'll be able to keep track of that through monitoring them, along with needing to protect our students from inappropriate sites and dangers they might encounter on the internet. We also need to teach them about how to protect their personal information, which in return will keep them safe. Now, when it comes to establishing these guidelines or classroom rules for safe use, there's three things to remember. Keep them short, keep them clear, stick to them. If you follow those three guidelines, you'll have no problem with coming up with rules for your classroom. Keep them short, clear, and stick to them. Now, along with those rules, don't be afraid to have some sort of contract for you and your students' parents to sign. A contract just basically stating what you expect of your students. You could have a list of sites on there that are approved and not approved. You could have a list of consequences on there that students might be faced with if they do cross a line and try and go onto one of those sites or do something else that you have on there that you don't want them to do. A lot of schools already have these policies in place that students and parents have to sign at the beginning of the year, but it doesn't hurt to have them in your individual classrooms either. Scholastic.com has some great examples of internet contracts or internet policies that you could get some ideas for if you wanted to draw them up in your classroom. Now, through all my research on internet safety, there was one quote that really stuck with me. I found it in the Blue Skunk blog by Doug Johnson, wrote in 2010, and he stated, "Will doing these things guarantee a student will be safe?" Well, of course not. And that just, really got me thinking. We as educators can't guarantee absolutely safety for our students, but we can at least take the steps in the right direction to their safety by showing them, teaching them, being good examples for them. In dealing with the importance of these topics, we are helping and aiding in their safety. Next, as our jobs as educators, we need to not only educate ourselves on copyright laws and plagiarism, but then turn around and use what we've learned and teach that to our students and educate them on those same copyright laws and plagiarism. Along with teaching those, we also need to teach students that they are going to be held accountable. Just like they're held accountable for their actions in everyday society, they will be held accountable for everything they say and write on the internet. So it's best to teach them honesty is the best policy. If students are honest and they do not lie, they do not cheat, and they don't try and steal someone else's work and claim it as their own on the internet, then they will be okay. So honesty, it's the best policy to teach. Along with teaching honesty, we need to teach them how to cite others. It is important for students to know how to cite other people's work in all facets of their education. They'll need it for when they're writing reports or doing all sorts of things on the internet, such as these Google Slides or presentations or PowerPoints. They just need to know when the proper time is to give credit to someone and then how to cite it in their text and in their resources. You know, with technology that is constantly changing and available for our students, it just makes cheating that much easier for students and plagiarizing. That's why it is important for them to learn that. Now, the third step in digital citizenship is responsible use. It is our job to teach our students how not only to be responsible, but also how to balance their time with the internet, with their everyday lives. And a lot of schools are going to the use of iPads and laptops with their computers, so it just puts all these things at their fingertips, games and music that they can occupy their time with, and we just need, as educators, to also teach them how to balance that time between internet and their everyday lives. Along with balancing their time with the internet, another facet of responsible use is just they need to learn how to respect themselves. When they can respect themselves, they can respect others also. That is a huge part of being on the internet, is just respect. And we also need to teach them that they need to advocate for others who can't advocate for themselves for some odd reason, or whether they're scared or for some other reason. The best way to do that is to teach them the think method. Think. T is for true. Is what you're saying or getting ready to put on the internet true? H. Is it hurtful? Is what you're getting to put on Facebook or Twitter gonna hurt somebody? I. Is it illegal? Is what you're gonna use or put on a report, are you using it in the legal way or is it illegal? N. Is it necessary? K. Is what you're about to do kind? Think. Just remember those simple words. True, hurtful, illegal, necessary, and kind. If you follow that simple saying and teach those to your students, it's a great and powerful step into the right direction of digital citizenship. Not only that, we need to also, like I said, teach them about advocating for others. And cyberbullying is such a big problem in our schools today that we not only need to educate ourselves on, as teachers, on how to spot it and how to stop it, but we also need to educate ourselves on how to get across to our students that we just will not tolerate that kind of behavior. I found a survey in my research done by Eduscapes in 2009, and they said that 81% of all young adults have phones with cameras. And out of that, 11% of those students have reported having someone taken their picture and posting it without their permission in a hurtful, embarrassing manner. That is just one form of cyberbullying that many students will face or have already faced. That's why it is important as educators to make ourselves aware of what is going on, and we can do that through monitoring our students on the internet. Now, let's do a fast review. All digital citizens. There are just a few simple points to remember that'll make you a good digital citizen. First, stay safe online. And we can help our students by, like I said earlier, monitoring what sites they go to and just making sure they are doing appropriate things. Protect private information. Once again, we just need to show them not only how to protect themselves, but others. 3, respect themselves and others. By respecting themselves and others, that is a good step towards becoming a good citizen. 4, balancing their time. So not all their time is spent on the internet. 5, standing up to cyberbullying. To me, that is one of the biggest steps in becoming a good digital citizen. I think that if someone can stand up and advocate for those who can't, it is just a good step in the right direction, and it will help build this safe community that we all live in this digital world. Lastly, as educators, a little fun fact that I found in my research to remember is the word REP. Respect, educate, and protect. 3 simple words. Once we've taught all these informations to our students, if we can remember those 3 words and they can remember those 3 words, respect, educate, and protect, then we have done our part in teaching them how to be safe and use the internet legally and responsible. Now, lastly, I'm going to leave you with my list of resources. Like I said, the Blue Skunk blog, Doug Johnson had some great ideas on safe use with technology. And then I also found some interesting facts with Edscapes, if you guys wanted to check those out. Digitalcitizenship.net is a great website to go to. They have lots of things you can print off and pass on to your students so they can take them home, which are always great to have handouts. And then lastly, the Scholastic Internet Safety for Schools Using Technology, Why Have a Policy in Your School. They had some great ideas for you if you wanted to make up your own contract for your classroom and have a policy for your classroom along with the policy that is for the school. So that leaves us with the digital citizenship, safe, legal, and responsible use of technology in the digital world that we live in today. Thank you.